We're going to change things up a little bit, and I'm going to find out just how awake everybody is. So we're going to start off with the first verse of a song that I know everybody in here knows. So if you're not singing, you don't have that excuse. We're going to sing the first verse of This Little Light of Mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Y'all passed the test. Y'all are all pretty awake. You know, that's a song we all know, we've all heard since kids, and sometimes we can think, because it's a song that oftentimes we may have sang at Vacation Bible School or working with young children, that, you know, that there's not a deep meaning to the words that we're singing. But in reality, that is a very, very powerful song, and it's contained of 4 verses, which I'll go into. Being a light in the world is essential, both for ourselves and for others. And it is something that each one of us are called to be. Well, how do we become that light that we read about in the first reading in the gospel? Well, first off, who is the light of the world? Jesus. When he came into the world, he became the light of the world. So how do you and I become lights? How do we let our light shine? By becoming like Christ. Becoming like him in the world. Because the first reading is very explicit when it talks about sharing bread with the hungry, sheltering the oppressed and the homeless, clothing the naked. So in other words, caring for those in need, becoming like Christ. And it goes on to say this very, very beautiful image. Do this, and your light shall break forth like the dawn. What an awesome image, isn't it? Because what does the dawn signify each and every morning? It signifies that night is ended. Light has entered in. We are no longer in darkness. So if you and I are called to usher in the dawn, that is a beautiful, beautiful gift that Christ is calling us to share in. And a tall task, but a beautiful, beautiful gift. Well, now all of us know the first verse of This Little Light is Mine, and I'm not going to make y'all sing all 4, I promise. But the second verse is hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. Just like we read in the gospel. A light is not meant to be hidden under a bushel basket. And there's actually 2 things that happen to a light under a basket. The first, the light does not spread. And secondly, more importantly for you and I, once the oxygen in that basket is depleted, the light goes out. The candle can no longer burn without oxygen. And how do you and I, in a sense, put the basket over our light? Very simply by pride. Because pride is the belief that I can do this on my own, Lord. I don't need you. And if Christ is the light, that when we choose to act out of our own strength and according to our own will, then we are excluding Christ and his strength and his will. And if Christ is the light that shines through us, when we do that, we hide our light. And if we do that over time, the light within us goes out. And then we have the third verse of This Little Light is Mine. It says, won't let Satan blow it out. I'm going to let it shine. And that's something all of us struggle with, isn't it? The lies and temptations of the world. The ones that Satan tries to put off to us is a good thing. And believe you me, it would be very nice if he worked out in the open and we knew exactly what he was doing, when he was going to do it, and how he was going to do it. However, that's not the case. He is crafty and cunning and smart. But important to note, he has no wisdom within him. Because wisdom is a grace from God for those who are in union with him. And wisdom gives us that leg up that he can never overcome. And I could sit up here spouting off the lies of Satan, but I would imagine y'all probably want to eat dinner sometime today, so I think we can probably do something else and point to y'all the easiest way to overcome him and to recognize the lies for what they are. Because if we equate Satan with evil and darkness, what does darkness do when the light comes? It flees. How do we avoid his traps and snares? Letting that light shine. Because if that light's shining in us, there's no room for darkness. There's no room for Satan. Because my brothers and sisters, this calling that each and every one of us share in to become the light of the world is essential to who we are. Because by becoming that light, as I have said, we become like Christ. Meaning we become who we were meant to be. And the beautiful thing about a light, if I go into a room and flip on a light and there's other people in that room, does that light just benefit me? No. No, it doesn't. It also benefits those whom we are with. It can even bring light into somebody else who is in darkness, because it is Christ living within us that is that light. We are called to be that light because that light is the source of all goodness, of all hope, of all love, of joy. And believe you me, our world needs light. Our world needs you and I to be the dawn, to be the ones who are ushering in the love of Christ by serving our brothers and sisters. Those to whom, when we come in, Satan flees because Christ is dwelling in us. And my brothers and sisters, there's another reason why we are called to be the light. Because you and I all wish to share one day in heaven, don't we? Well, in heaven there is no darkness. There's only light because it is Christ and you and I as he desires us fully to be. And so I would ask that y'all join me for this fourth verse. You may not know it at first, but the second time around, I hope y'all can sing with me. Let it shine till Jesus comes. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine till Jesus comes. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine till Jesus comes. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.